Doctor warns, if you don't have sex in old age, this will happen to you. You know what they say about love, right? That it has no age limit. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw an older couple holding hands on TV? Or heard someone talk openly about sex after 70? Probably not often. We've been conditioned to believe that once you hit your 60s, intimacy fades into memory. That romance belongs to the young and passion. Well, passion is just part of the past. But what if I told you that couldn't be further from the truth? Speech balloon, let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's a quiet taboo surrounding intimacy and aging. We celebrate weddings, first dates, Valentine's Day, but only for the young. When it comes to people over 65, there's this unspoken rule: you don't need that anymore. And honestly, that belief can be more damaging than any physical ailment. Because when we stop believing we're allowed to feel desire or receive affection, we start to shrink. We pull back. We smile less. We touch less. We live less. Old woman, real people, real stories. Let me introduce you to Margaret and James. They've been married for over 50 years. Margaret is 72, James is 74. Last year, they celebrated their golden anniversary with a quiet dinner, a few close friends, and a night filled with laughter, closeness, and yes, intimate connection. When I asked them if their relationship had changed over the decades, Margaret smiled and said, "It's not the same as it was when we were 30, but it's deeper. It's richer. We've learned how to hold each other without words, how to make love without rushing." Margaret and James are not alone. Across America, more and more seniors are choosing to embrace intimacy, not just for pleasure, but for health, happiness, and connection. DNA, the science says something different. Science tells us that human beings are wired for touch. From the moment we're born, skin-to-skin contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. And guess what? That doesn't stop when you turn 65. In fact, research shows that regular physical affection can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and even boost immunity, all things we need more of as we age. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Health found that older adults who maintained active, loving relationships reported higher life satisfaction, better sleep, and fewer depressive symptoms than those who didn't. Brain, what happens when we stop touching? Did you know that lack of physical affection can actually accelerate cognitive decline? Our brains thrive on connection. Touch triggers the release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, chemicals that keep our mood balanced and our mind sharp. Without it, we risk feeling isolated, anxious, even forgotten. And yet, so many of us go months, sometimes years, without being touched in a way that says, "I see you. I care about you." The balloon pause and reflect moment. Before we go any further, take a deep breath. Let yourself feel whatever comes up: curiosity, nostalgia, maybe even a little hesitation. That's okay. This journey is about rediscovery, not performance. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I felt truly seen by someone? Truly loved? Truly desired? Hold on to that feeling, because we're about to bring it back. Broken heart, the myths we carry. There are so many myths out there about aging and sex. Let me name a few. Once you're old, you don't need that anymore. Sex is risky for older people. It's embarrassing to even talk about it. But here's the thing. These beliefs are not only outdated, they're dangerous. Because when we tell ourselves that intimacy ends with age, we start to lose a piece of who we are. Handshake, a new kind of love story. So today, I want to invite you into a conversation that's long overdue. One that's honest, warm, and maybe even a little vulnerable. Whether you're single, partnered, widowed, or divorced, this is for you. Because whether you're 65, 75, or 85, one truth remains. Sparkling art, you are still desirable, still lovable, still capable of deep, meaningful connection. Magnifying glass, tilted left, what we'll explore together. In the coming episodes, we'll dive into the surprising ways intimacy affects your heart, your brain, your mood, and even your immune system. We'll hear real stories from couples who've kept the flame alive, and even some who reignited it after years apart. We'll explore practical tips for staying connected, whether you're with a partner or exploring intimacy on your own. And most importantly, we'll challenge the idea that love, desire, and closeness have an expiration date. Test tube, real research, real results. Let me share with you a few findings from recent studies that may surprise you. A 2020 study from Indiana University found that 60% of adults over 65 reported being sexually active at least once a month. The National Social Life, Health, and Aging Project, NSHAP, revealed that sexual activity among older adults is linked to greater life satisfaction and emotional well-being. Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health discovered that older men and women who maintain intimacy tend to live longer, healthier lives. So if you ever thought you were the only one still wanting more, rest assured, you're not alone. Red Heart, a love letter to you. This episode is my love letter to every person over 65 who's ever wondered if they're still attractive, still wanted, still worthy of closeness. You are. You always have been. And you always will be. Intimacy isn't just about sex, though it can be. It's about connection. It's about being held, heard, and cherished. It's about knowing that no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated, you still have something beautiful to give and to receive. Man in Lotus position, final thought for today. As we wrap up this first episode, I want to leave you with a gentle reminder. Revolving hearts, you are not too old to fall in love again. With life, with each other, with yourself. Next week, we'll talk about how intimacy isn't just good for your heart, it might just save it. So stay with us. You're not done yet. This has been Love After 65. I'm your host, Dr. Elena Hartwell, reminding you that no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated, two hearts, you're never too old to feel loved, to feel desired, to feel alive. You know what they say about a healthy heart? That it beats steadily, quietly, keeping you alive without ever asking for thanks. But did you ever think that your heart might also beat in rhythm with love? That's right. In this episode, we're diving into something deeply personal and profoundly physical. We're talking about how intimacy, especially sexual connection, affects one of the most vital organs in your body, your heart. Because here's a truth many of us don't talk about enough. Your heart doesn't stop needing love just because you've lived longer. And guess what? Love, real, physical, intimate love, can actually help keep your heart healthier than you might think. Lightbulb, a new perspective on heart health. When we hear the word cardiovascular health, most of us immediately think of cholesterol levels, blood pressure, or maybe even that treadmill we bought 5 years ago and still haven't used. But here's something few people talk about openly. Sex is exercise. Real, meaningful, heart-pumping exercise. And for those of us over 65, that kind of gentle exertion, when done safely, can be exactly what our bodies need to stay strong, resilient, and alive. DNA, what science tells us. Let me share with you some surprising findings from medical research. A long-term study by the Mayo Clinic found that older adults who engaged in regular sexual activity had lower blood pressure and better cardiovascular function than those who didn't. Research published in the American Journal of Cardiology showed that men and women over 65 who remained sexually active reduced their risk of heart disease by up to 20%. And here's my favorite finding. The American Heart Association has stated that, for most older adults, sex is not only safe, it's beneficial. So if someone's told you that intimacy is risky after 65, I'm here to tell you, it's time to rewrite that story. Family Man Woman Girl, a love story that saved a life. Let me tell you about Tom and Linda. They met in high school, married at 19, and spent over 50 years building a life together. By the time they hit 70, both were dealing with aging bodies, medications, and the usual wear and tear of life. Then, one day, Tom collapsed while walking the dog. He was rushed to the hospital and diagnosed with congestive heart failure. The doctor gave him two choices: lifestyle changes or surgery. Surgery came with risks. Lifestyle changes, well, he wasn't sure where to start. Until Linda looked him in the eyes and said, "We've always made love every night. Let's not stop now." Tom smiled. And then he cried. Because in that moment, he realized that love, real, physical, emotional love, was part of his healing. They started small, holding hands more, kissing like they used to. Then slowly, gently, they rekindled their intimacy. Not for performance, but for connection. 6 months later, Tom walked out of his cardiologist's office with a clean bill of heart health. Did sex cure his heart? No, but it helped. It reminded him that he was still loved, still wanted, still alive. Red Heart, how intimacy becomes medicine. Now, let's get a little scientific, but not too much. You're not here for a biology lecture, and I promise not to put you to sleep. Here's what happens when you engage in intimate touch, whether it's holding hands, kissing, or making love. Your heart rate increases slightly, just like during light exercise. Blood flows more freely through your arteries, improving circulation. Stress hormones like cortisol decrease, which helps lower blood pressure. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, floods your system, creating a sense of calm, safety, and emotional bonding. All of these things are good for your heart, especially as you age. Beating heart, the rhythm of love. Think of your heart as a musician and love as its favorite song. When you're connected, when you feel seen and cherished, your heart dances. It beats with purpose. It thrives. But when we cut ourselves off from intimacy, whether out of fear, shame, or simply because we believe it's no longer necessary, something inside us slows down. Our pulse becomes less lively. Our blood flow less vibrant. Our body feels heavier. And that's not just poetic. That's physiological. Speech balloon pause and reflect moment. Before we go any further, take a moment to place your hand over your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I felt truly alive in my body? Truly connected to someone else? Truly loved in a way that made my heart skip a beat? Don't rush the answer. Just sit with it. Breathe into it. Because sometimes, all your heart needs is a little reminder that it's still dancing. Warning, is it safe? Now, I want to address something important because I care about your health and safety. Yes, sex is generally safe for most older adults. But if you have a history of heart disease, recent surgery, or chronic illness, it's always wise to consult your doctor before resuming intimacy. Talk to them honestly. Ask questions. Don't be embarrassed. This is part of your overall wellness. And if you're single, there are still ways to experience touch and closeness, massage therapy, cuddle therapy, even warm hugs from friends or family. All of it matters. Man, lotus position, gentle movement equals gentle healing. If you're just starting to reconnect with intimacy after a long break, take it slow. Think of it like returning to the gym after years away. You wouldn't jump straight into running a marathon. Start with small gestures. Hold hands. Share a kiss. Long Island Expressway close. Let your body remember how it feels to be desired. And if you're worried about performance, stop right there. This isn't about stamina or speed. It's about presence. About being fully with another person. Or even with yourself. Speech balloon questions to ask yourself. Before jumping into anything, I want you to reflect on a few things. Am I physically ready for intimacy? Do I feel emotionally safe with my partner? Am I giving myself permission to feel pleasure again? Do I understand my own limits, and am I willing to communicate them? These aren't easy questions, but they're essential. Test tube real talk, blood pressure, medication, and libido. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention something that comes up often, medication. Many of us are on blood pressure meds, diuretics, or antidepressants, and yes, these can affect libido and physical response. But that doesn't mean the end of intimacy. It just means we need to approach it differently. With patience, with communication, and sometimes with the help of a doctor or therapist. Remember, you deserve to feel good, in your body, in your relationships, and in your heart. To Art's final thought for today. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. Sparkling heart, your heart doesn't stop loving just because you've aged. And love, real, tender, intimate love, doesn't stop helping your heart. So don't give up on passion. Don't give in to the myth that intimacy is only for the young. Because in every heartbeat, in every kiss, in every quiet moment of closeness, your heart is saying one thing clearly. I'm still here. I'm still beating. I'm still yours to love. Headphone coming up next. In the next episode, we'll explore how movement and intimacy help keep your muscles strong and your joints flexible, even as you age. We'll hear from a 79-year-old woman who credits her nightly routines with her husband for keeping her pain-free and mobile. So stick around, because staying close isn't just good for your heart, it's good for your whole body. This has been Love After 65. I'm Dr. Elena Hartwell, reminding you that no matter how old you are, Red Heart, your heart still wants to dance.